Now, we're going to be going through some key concepts about communities that we all need to know. So the first one is the concept of social density. One of the most common reasons why communities fail or fail to, get that kickstart early on, and this is not just communities, even content creators, the reason is there's not enough social density. What do you mean by social density? Social density refers to the number of social interactions that are likely to happen in the set space. People interact only when they know that this place is something that is already successful. They need some form of a social proof, right? So what are the ways in which we can build social density, and how can you achieve community growth? Now, there's two methods for initial community growth. The first one is seeding your community, right? And seeding your community is all about curating early members before even you launch your community to the public. These are your beta testers, right? Your early members, your super loyal fans. They're your happy customers. They can be industry leaders. They can be passion players. People are doing this just out of passion, they don't want anything else. These can be people within your network, your friends, families. They can be your team members. So these become the early members. So early days of building a community or any form of a social media platform, there's a lot of things that you do that do not scale, right? These seeds, these early customers, they are not on your payroll, right? So you can't treat them like employees. Obviously, the last one, your team members, they're obviously on your payroll. But the point I'm trying to make is that the seed, the early members, don't make it feel like, or don't make it sound like a job. Make it sound like they're contributing to a wonderful new space, right? Make it, you need to paint that beautiful picture. Give them the excitement. Make sure the key aspect, right, in this stage, you remember those 5 needs that we spoke about? The key aspect here is esteem. This is the benefit, this is the member benefit that they are seeking by being your beta member. They want that exclusive respect and self-esteem. And how can you treat these people? How can you treat your OG members? So some of the benefits that you can give them, one is increased access, and that can be to your team, and it can also be to your network, the other industry leaders that are part of your network. You can also give them some form of social recognition, make them distinct by giving them some special badges. You can give them authority, right? They also will have seniority because they're your earliest members. They also feel some form of ownership, and you can include that because they'll have wonderful insights. This will be extremely useful when you're creating your community guidelines or whenever you're making any changes to your community. These guys you need to give them some form, or you need to give them that sense of investment. Now, the idea behind seeding your community is obviously to create and build that early activity, early social density. And as your members grow, these guys will be the ones that drive the best word of mouth. Okay, and it's word of mouth is the best. It's the most organic, and it's till date it's the best form of marketing. It's the cheapest form of marketing. So seeding grows your members organically because it drives the best word of mouth. Now, once the seeds create content, that initial content, and there's a little bit of social density, and then through their word of mouth, they bring in their referrals. Now is when you can go from, say, a beta and open it to the rest of the public. So early days, when you're creating this early social density, keep the conversations tight. Create content that moves members through the relationship model. I hope you remember the acquaintance, the build up, the continuation. And this is also when you need to start, as you start to scale, as you start to build more and more social density, you need to involve more processes, moving from things that don't scale to things that are more based on processes and protocols, like your community guidelines, your member specific language, knowing what goes and what does not. Now, in contrast to seeding, the second form of community growth is cold open, which basically means opening it to the cold audience, people who you don't know and who probably don't know you. So you launch it, it's no longer in beta, it's out in the open. One of the most common ways that you can do this is through running ads, right? Your digital marketing, what we all know, where you run paid ads. So in this stage, this is the second way you can grow your community, and that is through the cold open. Now, what do you do when the social density goes really high, right? You started off trying to kickstart the community, but it kicked and the flywheel set in and the community is grown out of proportion, and now you don't know what to do. Now, here's when you start to break things up and you create subtopics. Now, Reddit has done this extremely well. Reddit is a huge community, right? How does it manage itself? Is through creating subtopics or subreddits.